Well, gang, here's something a little bit different. This is a fiberglass trailer that a buddy of mine owns, and he's getting ready to make a road trip, I think to Michigan, and he managed to punch a hole in it. And he's concerned about getting moisture in there and damaging whatever he happens to be carrying on that trip. As you can see, this is where the damage occurred, and I've already taken a grinder and exposed the fiberglass. There's multiple layers of fiberglass in there, of course, and this is a double wall panel. I'm not going to do anything to the inside because it has this material on it. I don't want to mess that up. And what I've done is I've taken a block of wood and put it between his spare tire and the panel to support it so it won't move. This isn't really a difficult repair, but I'm going to show you what I do or how I do it. And I'm not going to paint it. I'm just taking it, getting it repaired and watertight, and get some primer on it. But let me show you how I'm going to do that. Okay, here's the basics of what I use to do a fiberglass repair. I've got some stranded fiberglass. I've got some fiberglass cloth, which I'm probably not going to need or use. I'll do the stranded stuff. I've got an old can of resin, which I'll have to open up and see if it's any good. I've got some new hardener, just in case, because hardener always tends to dry out and go bad. And if not, I have a new can of resin that I can use. And I also have a little spreader. And as you can see, I've got a piece of aluminum foil taped down just a piece of wood. And what I'm going to do is I'll mix up my resin and put it on the foil, and then I'll take pieces of the stranded stuff and push it down into the resin, and I'll use the spreader to do that, and I'll basically impregnate the stranded stuff with resin material. I find it easier to do that than to try to put this up on the panel and try to put the resin in it. And it's just a simple way to do it, and the foil keeps it from soaking into this wood or whatever you have for a platform or a table. So let me get started on that. Alright, so to make this happen, I'm going to have to measure out my resin and my hardener. And I didn't have a disposable cup that I could use to measure out ounces. So I went in the house and I found one of these little blue plastic cups, and similar to a Solo cup or Dixie cup, whatever. And use my wife's measuring cup, poured 2 ounces in, drew a line, put 4 ounces in, drew a line, and now I have a reference and a disposable little cup. Now the instructions say, in this case, 12 drops of resin per ounce. 12 drops of hardener per ounce of resin. So that's what I'll do. I'll put my drops in, mix this up probably with a tongue depressor, and then what I'll do is I'll pour it onto the foil and then put the fiberglass pieces in and use the spreader again to impregnate it. Alright, so I've mixed up my resin. Get it out of my little cup there. And again, I'm not trying to fix this all in one shot. This is going to take several rounds of adding material. But this gives me a good start point. And then I'm going to take these pieces and I want to soak them in with the resin. Now this is just to get them soaked. I'm not going to pile all these in one piece. I just want to get the resin in the material. And I've just cut a variety of shapes to use. This is a messy job, as you can see, but that's the way it works. Alright, let's see if I can set this up. Not a lot of time to work with, but do what I can here. I'm going to try to push that back into the crack, making sure I get resin and material down in there. It's not pretty, but it will be effective. I'm trying to get it all, like I said, back in that crack as much as I can. And I'm going to even take the spreader, pack it down in there. And really I'm laying a foundation for more material to come in later. And I'm trying to get rid of any air bubbles. You definitely don't want air bubbles, because air bubbles don't add strength, that's for sure. And it's always easy to do too much. By that I mean you keep on messing with it and end up with more problems because you don't have the material laid down right, because it starts to cure on you, and then you're in trouble. So there's the first round. I'm just going to stop right there and wait for that to cure and get ready for round 2. Okay, this first round is hardened up, good and solid. And what I'm going to do is take my grinder and knock down all this high stuff. It's not necessary. I'm focusing on these cracks in here, so I don't want a whole big pile of material that I'll have to take off anyway. So I'm going to grind that down and get it prepped for the next round. Okay, so now you can see that I've taken the grinder and gone over it, and I don't want to see any shiny material, you know, no shiny surfaces, because the resin, it likes scratched up stuff. It likes to bond to that. So even these little divots here, I took a little just a drill bit and scratched up the inside of that. So what I'll do is I'll mix up another round of resin, put some more fiberglass in these deeper areas, and that's probably all I'm going to do as far as fiberglass. And then I'll smooth it up again and work it with some filler and try to blend the transitions in. Okay, there's 2 rounds of repair, and nice and solid. So what I'm going to do is take the grinder again and I'll smooth that down, and that'll be all I do as far as adding fiberglass, and then I'll coat it with filler. We'll see how that looks in a minute. And there's what it looks like after grinding down the high stuff with the sanding disc on a 90 grinder or air grinder. I also took some 100 grit on a nice Durablock and basically just did block sanding, back and forth, crisscross pattern to get the shape. Now you still see there's some little pits and whatnot, and there's a little low spot there, but that's very, very, very minor. I'll take an air hose and blow that out, and then I'm going to be able to top coat this with dolphin glaze and sand that out, throw some primer on it, and that should be it. Okay, so I went 2 rounds of dolphin glaze, and I blocked it down a little more using 180, and also still use the round Durablock, and I was pretty happy with the results. So I then hit it with a DA with some 400 and just smoothed it up, and now I'm going to spray on some U-Pole High 5. Don't normally use this stuff, but for this application it'll work fine. It's a high build primer filler, and I'll spray that on there and then go over it one more time. And that's the finished product. The owner just wanted me to do this repair work and put some primer on it, and somebody else is going to do the paint work, which is fine with me because I don't want to paint this trailer. So I think it turned out pretty nice, and hopefully you learned something from it and you can make use of this video. Thanks for watching.